Hi everyone, this is Lisa Cronin from It's the Little Things in Card Making, and I have the House Builder card base from Honeybee Stamps. Now you get a lot of dies in this set. You get your house, and this will make an A2 size card, and you get your roof, and then you get a connector piece. So there's a few different ways that you can put the card together. The first thing I'm going to show you is probably the simplest way, which is to use the full house, cut it out so that you have two of the same size pieces, and then this connector piece. Now this connector piece could be adhered in all different ways. You can put, it's a strip. It gives you the score line. You fold it in half. You can either put it one half in the back, one half in the front. And in doing that, you would need to get another house to put in the back to hide this here. And also in the front, because you want to hide this piece here. Now, you can do it another way. You can put the full strip on the inside of the card, and so you would glue it this way, closed, on both sides, the back and the front. Or you can put just one side, like in the back, and attach the front from the inside. So this is probably the simplest way to do it, but there are other ways, and I'm going to show that to you. Okay, it would be partial die cutting of that house, this house here. And it's easy. It's just going to take you a couple more steps. So I have this black piece of cardstock here, and it's 6 wide by 8.5 long. And it's not scored. That's going to be done after we do the partial die cutting. So, not to bring my machine over, let's make believe that these are plates. So, for a big shot, your cutting plate would go on the bottom. Your paper and die would go next. And what you would do is you would make sure, because this, when it's folded in half, is going to make an A2 size card lengthwise. So you want to make sure that your cutting edge on your die is all the way at the bottom, that it literally sits right above. And this is important, because this is going to help things line up and be straight. Otherwise you'll have a crooked house. So as soon as it touches that line, tape it in place in the back. And we're going to do that now. I've already cut this, but I'm going to use the cardstock as if they were plates, and then I'll explain what you do next. Okay, I'm a little out of line. Can you see that? That's not good. So we're going to do it again. I'm going to lift up my die. I'm actually catching the very end of the paper. And now you can see the cutting edge is right there. And my paper is just above it. And that has to stay in place. So now, here's your cutting plate. Your die is going to go anywhere you want on the cutting plate. It's this top plate that you have to adjust. So you don't want it cutting the top of the house, the roof of the house. So you're going to put your cutting plate, your top plate, just short of the metal. Just short. Now, the cutting area is in the metal on the die. All the dies are, it's in the metal. It's in the middle. It's not on the edge on this side. It's not on the edge on that side. It's in the middle. So you can get away with going up to this point when you cut. And this is how you're going to cut it. You're going to put your plate right there. And also, some plates have like a beveled edge, and some plates have a flat edge. This is best done with the flat edge, not the beveled edge, because the beveled edge is not going to give you enough pressure to cut up until this point. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so once it's cut, you run it through your machine, and you're going to know if you were straight because you didn't cut into, well, you don't know if you're straight, but you know that you didn't cut into the house. So now what you're going to do is you're going to score it. And I can't find my scoring tool, so gotta use this. Now, I'm just going to score. I'm not going to cut. So I can see exactly where I need to score my house. Because I can see where it stopped cutting. And I'm not even going to make a mark. I'm just going to make sure that's in my center. And make sure this is in my center on the other side. And this is a scoring tool on one of my cutters. So I was able to score it. Now I'm going to fold it down, and then I'm going to press it down. So now this is what we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'm going to cut this off. This is where I scored. Now my larger scissors, I'll get this out of the way. My larger scissors are here somewhere. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that roof area right here, and I'm going to cut that. Make sure that my front and my back are together. I'm going to cut it. And I'm only cutting it up until the end of the house here. Not going any further than that. And using my bigger scissor, I am just going to follow what the machine cut. So I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to cut this, and I'm just going to go up straight. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just going to follow with that die cut. And now we have a card that's in the shape of a house, and we didn't have to use the connector piece. So at this point, you could decorate the front of it, or you can make a card front and attach it to the base. And that's what I did here. So, but it looks different. Doesn't it look different? You can see that the roof pieces are not matching up. And that's because I adjusted it a little bit. I wanted a little more house and a little less roof. So what I did was I took a larger piece of paper and folded it in half, but left more on the bottom. And then I took, I took my roof die and I die cut out a piece. And then what I did was, typically you would cut out your roof die piece and you would apply it to your roof. This is what I did. I applied it to my roof, but I cut off half of it. So then I needed this here, my house piece. And if you look, you'll see that you can go straight up those lines. And you could see it from the back. I went straight up and then I curved in a little bit. And that gave me more of a house, more of a front, less of a roof. So if I wanted to, I could cut this exactly the same way I cut it before, because what I did was I left myself, because it's still an A2 size card. I didn't make it any bigger or any smaller. So what I would do is I would cut this off and I'd go all the way up, and that would give me, and this is what I would be cutting, the roof bottom and the sides of the house. And that would give me my card. So what will we be cutting away is this piece in here, this here, this here, and this here. And it's almost like a regular A2 card. So this is a regular A2 card. And you can even do this. You can make an A2 size card and just put a front on, and you could leave it just like that. Or you don't even have to use a die. If you cut the house out, all you have to do is follow the shape of the house. And then when you fold it, you cut the back, following what you cut on the front. And then you can lay your card front on. So there's like I said, there's a couple of ways to do it. I think the easiest way to do it is the way that I did it with the partial die cutting, because then you don't have to worry about, gluing the two pieces and then hiding, those ends, of the connector piece. You don't have to worry about that. It's a full card already. All right, so on this card front, what I did was I made a little house, and there's so many pieces. There's different windows. There's a door. There's so much here. There's a chimney. There are stairs. There are flower pots. There are curtains. There's another flower pot. Up here we have some flowers. We have the door, not the door jamb, but part of the door, the top of it. We have some leaves, which I made a wreath with. This piece here, I made a kick plate. From the stairs, I turned them right side up and I made a handrail. I brought it up because I wanted to make a porch. So I kind of brought up my bottom. And I didn't put my fence right on the bottom because I wanted it to be like a little porch with a fence. So, and I wanted to give it dimension. So I had put the staircase that way. A little mailbox. This is actually the fence. And I just, cut the sides off of it. And then I gave it shutters. This is actually the valance for a curtain. So I could have used that on the inside. But I kind of used it like a little awning. Now what I did, because, on me, is I used embossing folders to give this card some texture. So this is a Doris 5x7 folder. And I did my roof, like slats. And then I used this Tailored Expressions folder. And this is subway tiles. But to me, it looks like bricks. But, see, the thing is, I was wrong. This way, it looks like shingles. This way, it looks like bricks. So actually, this is on wrong. I should have been using this side with the depressed grout rather than the depressed brick. So, you live and you learn. But it's still a pretty card. And I'm going to probably mount it onto, and I'm looking for my card here. There it is. So I'll mount it on this card and cut it to the shape of the house. And then what I'll do is I'm gonna make it an easel card, and I think this is just brilliant. So I already scored it between the house and the roof, and I'm gonna glue the bottom part, just the house part, and then I'm gonna attach it, and I'll do it with this one. I'm gonna attach just the bottom. So what I've done here is I've attached 2 full card houses. This was a card house, and this was a card house. And one of them I just scored in the middle and attached the front where I scored to the back of the house. So once this comes down at that score line, this is what you get. Now, it seems like it's maybe a little long, this piece here. So my suggestion is just cut it a little bit, and it will sit better and it will sit nicer. And maybe we can score just a little lower than the roof line, and that will give us a much better fit. So if we put our house here, we have a lawn, and we can put whatever we want on the lawn. And whatever we put on the lawn will be the stopper, so that it doesn't fall like that. So whether it be a potted plant here, or whether it be just a label saying, congratulations on your new home, and when it slides down, that stopper will keep it from falling all the way down. So that's how you would do the easel card for this house. Now, I had purchased, what is it now? The add-on, the Haunted House add-on. And I've been trying to get the holiday Christmas add-on, and I can't get it. There's a wait list everywhere, and I'm on everybody's wait list. So I decided that maybe some people weren't able to get a haunted house add-on. So I decided I was going to make a haunted house out of the basic house. Just the first house. The basic house. And I did. It's an A2 sized. It's an A2 sized card. And I was able, and I'm going to bring this back in so you can see some of the things that I used. I think that's called, I don't know, a gable? I'm not really sure. And that's one of the pieces, one of the die pieces. I also used that fence again as shutters, but I distressed them. I had 2 windows together here. I have 1 window on each side of the door, kind of a little wonky, but very distressed. I distressed everything on this card. I distressed the roof. I distressed the gable. I distressed the windows. I distressed the door. Everything on this card has been distressed, including the acetate that I put in the windows. And I don't know if you can see. My husband said he couldn't see it, but then they're broken and smashed. And I thought it just added to, you know, this condemned looking house. Then I made my own wood pieces, you know, to keep people out. And with a white gel pen, I wrote "Do Not Enter." It's kind of a shaker card, but it isn't really. The ghosts do move around. And so do the bats. And I put a bat up here as well. Now what I didn't do the typical shaker, because I didn't want the whole card to be fat. Because I do want this also to be a, let's find it. I want this to be an easel card. And I thought that if I made the card itself too thick, then it would give me a problem with shipping or with mailing. And this I thought was a better idea. So what I did was, instead of putting the shaker in between the base and the front, I just made little shakers and just added them onto the front. And I did that with the windows, and I did that with this part here. And I think it came out really cute. The inside of the card, this is going to be mounted here. And the inside of the card I also made. And I'm looking for, never mind. What I also did was, I made a little sentiment. I distressed that as well. I'm going to put that over the door. And my other sentiment fell. And I'm looking for it. And I know it's here. Here it is. And down here, I'm going to put Happy Halloween. So I think it's cute. I think it's a cute card. So then what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to do this now. So this is going to be attached. This card front is going to be attached to this card base. And then I'm going to make the mechanism. I'm going to cut another piece of black card, score it maybe a little lower than I scored the other one, and then it will be an easel card as well. The inside of the card is going to have a little surprise. Now, I don't know if this is mean to me or what, but, you know, it's kind of, I guess, a little trick. I have a thing about bugs, so it's funny, but it's not funny. If I got this in the mail and opened it up and saw something moving, I don't know. I think I would be really scared. So just going to center this. And I'm going to make sure that it's not sticking out anywhere. Whoops. going to have to be good enough. And there's my little spider. And he's dangling off his cobweb here. And because not knowing how, if it starts flipping over, what I did was I embellished the eyes on both sides. Green eyes and orange eyes. So we can make more than just the typical house. And my next feat, what I'm going to try to do, is I'm going to try to do a holiday house. And with these dies, with the base, no add-ons, just with the base, just with the original card dies. And I wanted to also mention that it's kind of easy to do an A7 card. And an A7 card is going to give us a bigger house, a little more room to work with, and it's also going to give us more options. So I believe my holiday card is going to be an A7 card. That's my plan. I hope to be finished with that soon. And I want to thank you all for stopping in. I hope this was helpful. I hope it inspired you. I hope you can see that, even though we get shut out on some of the new products, we can still make do with what we have. I'm still going to get that Christmas die, though. And, so thank you very much. If you like my video, please subscribe, press like, share, comment. I'll answer any questions you may have. And until next time, remember, it's the little things in card making. Bye now.